Hello and welcome, this is rooflemonger. So the balance patch is now upon us. It is live, so you can go download it right now and play with it to your heart's content. The purpose of this video is I'm going to show you kind of a visual guide to some of the bigger changes of what happened in the patch and also some of the changes I'm a fan of. And just go from there, because I did do the patch notes video, but when I made the patch notes video, the patch wasn't out yet, so there was a couple where I was left scratching my head on just kind of pondering the verbiage of the words in the patch notes. So now that it's live, we can just show you everything. So we'll just head on training mode, and I guess we'll just start at the start. Bardock and Android 16, two of the big ones, obviously, and let's just show you some of the changes there. Alright, so let's start with the showstopper here with some nerfs. So obviously Bardock and Android 16 had some of the better level 3s in the game, and Bardock, hey, had the best level 3 in the game, indebatably. So what happens here now? Let's try to go for our thing. Burp, burp, badoo. Oh well. Old man Bardock, he can't quite reach anymore. What happens with Android 16? Let's go in the corner here. Let's do the famous setup here. So we're gonna do the dunk to level 3, and we're gonna steal that corner, get our mix up. Let's see what happens. Alright, here we go. Time to get crossed up, Ginyu. Oh, that doesn't work no more neither. So yeah, the basic story is here, for Android 16, since we're using them, no more of the left-right stuff in the corner, and no more of the left-right stuff kind of period. There might be some tricky applications like super jump installs, and we'll have to find out, I guess, but yeah. As you can see here, it's kind of more in line with a lot of the other characters. That's not to say he gets nothing, right? Like, he certainly gets, like, guaranteed, instant air dash pressure, and you're not going to be able to, beat him out of it in any way, shape, or form. You're not going to down heavy him or anything like that, right? So it's still, certainly good, right? But it's not crazy like it was before. And we'll talk more about 16 stuff in a second here, but let's move back on to Bardock real quick. So, now back to Bardock. Is the level 3 mix gone? Of course not. You can't nerf this stupid thing. They've tried and they failed, and they tried and they failed. So, behold, that's all it takes. You move them back further, all you need to do is just micro dash, so like dash at the very beginning, and then immediately cancel your dash into a forward jump, and you'll have the exact range you need. And from there, you can do overhead. From there, you can do empty jump low, and from there, you can land and fake out and do the fake overhead. So it's basically the same as it was. And yeah, you can do safe jump timing against level 3s and all that kind of stuff, but there is one big caveat, and I'll show you that right now. So the big caveat is this, there's just a bit more frames behind it now. So you can safe jump at level 3, sure, but you're not going to be able to safe jump it down heavy. So that's the thing here. So the distance was increased for Bardock and for 16, but for Bardock specifically, he also had his recovery time increased, so he recovers a couple frames later, meaning wake up down heavy is now an option. Now, of course, does that mean you can't do it anymore? Of course not. Because all you have to do is the exact same setup, and if they're going to mash on down heavy, you just jump and you punish it. Whoops, there we go. And I don't even know what a combo would be off there. I'm not a Bardock player, but you get the idea, right? So there is some element of counterplay to it now, but it is just very easily baited out with a just before you land, neutral jump, homing dash, and totally will destroy the down heavy. So if you're so inclined to mash down heavy now, you think you're safe, well, all there is now is there's at least one more layer. But yeah, for movement options, it's basically the same as it was. But at least now there is some counterplay. And of course, Bardock can do the same stuff everyone else can do, right? So that mix may be gone, sure. Well, at least changed anyways. But you can still run forward and meaty down medium or go for a throw, just like most other characters can do. So it is still, don't get me wrong, in my opinion, absolutely one of the best level 3s in the game, and still probably top 3 or maybe top 3, top 5 level 3 in the game, right? It's just no longer indebatably top 1. And now back to 16 to round off the terrible duo here. I want to talk about the quarter circle forward, quarter circle back ground blast here. One of these is a stealth nerf. It says here for the quarter circle forward one, decreased startup time, meaning it would start up faster, and recovery on whiff is decreased. But what they did is actually nerfed its frame data. So this move used to be a 0 on block, meaning if you have both of the characters, say if I had another 16 here, right? So if I had another 16 here, I set him to guard all, and he's going to counterattack with a light attack. And so I do this, he would guaranteed trade. But this move is now straight up negative on block. That was not mentioned in the patch notes, but hey, it is what it is now. But the quarter circle back is still totally super plus on block. The animation changes as there is a multi-hit to it, and I'm sure that's got to affect something somewhere. But in my initial quick testings, it hasn't really changed too much. With that, and the assist has slightly less blocks on now. It's noticeable, honestly, but it certainly isn't the end of the world, because in this game, high block stun, low block stun, they're both equally valuable in different ways, so having low block stun is not necessarily a bad thing at all. So all you gotta do is just kind of figure out some new things. That's really all you gotta do. But yeah, so all in all, 16, he's still fine. Bardock, like for Bardock 2, like, you know, the level 3 was like only part of the equation, right? Like a big part of why people like Bardock is just the hugely mindless aggression, which he still has 100%. 16 still has his toolbox that he had before. The hit stun of the assist is not changing any way, shape, or form either. So all in all, both these characters, they're both fine. So I know there's going to be a lot of people awful sore about it, but in the end, both these characters are still fantastically good characters. And the very least, very worst, they're still both top 10 characters in my opinion. We have one system level change I want to go over real quick too here. There's a lot of system level stuff like calling assist now while you're blocking is a lot harder, as I speculated in the patch notes video, so that's exactly what I thought it was. But for a visual change, you can see here, so this. You know, you homing dash, and right before the homing dash, you call vanish. So now, in this situation, the homing dash won't just clean your clock 90% of the time. Usually, like, the homing dash will weirdly autocorrect and, like, kill your vanish, and now that's no longer the case. So if you burn the bar for a vanish against a homing dash, you can feel a little more confident about, you know, not completely wasting your bar and looking like an idiot. So I'm personally a big fan of that change. So Frieza, kind of one change here that's just a big change, is the pizza cutters. They now cause sliding knockdown on hit. And on top of sliding knockdown, there's also a lot more hit stun, and this changes a lot of how his combo structure works. So I'm just going to show you a couple examples here to get you started. I'm sure people have already figured out better stuff than what I'm going to show you here, but just to get the ideas running. As you can see there, so not an optimal combo by any stretch, but that kind of combo simply was not possible before. Also showing things that were not possible before, I'll show you this corner example. So you can now choose to stay on the ground by holding, you know, the super button. And with the new changes to the OTG, you can combo directly to it on purpose on the combo. Before, the only way to combo into it would have been like some weird, really esoteric Golden Frieza setups. But now you can basically do it whenever you want with pizza cutter combos. So yeah, so I was actually kind of worried about that if you watched the balance patch notes video. And in the end, hey, winds up being a positive change. Really good buff to combo structure stuff for Frieza. And this is only the beginning of the iceberg. There's going to be so much more stuff, right? But yeah, really nice for Frieza in the end. So for Teen Gohan, the light here does a lot higher launch, a lot higher everything, and that means a whole skew of stuff is possible. Something like this. Hey, you know combos like this. Well, you can do that without just mashing the auto combo to full now. And if you want to talk about like pressure applications here, let's just set the enemy to block. So if you want to do the whole auto combo, there we go, right? And you can even delay it. And now we can do this. And I'm basically, I see here timing's a little strict here, but I'm falling into my jump jab here. So that is possible, and not only that, you can do bomb loop stuff. You can air dash afterwards. You know, you can go into, you know, the usual machine gun pressure, like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, overall, definitely a net buff for Teen Gohan. It's kind of the real only change, but still, from what I know of Teen Gohan players who are now aware of this, they are definitely over the moon. So Piccolo got some changes. A lot of his moves got a bit quicker. This is going to lead to a lot of new combo possibilities down the road, to be sure. What I'm going to show you now is an example of a new vanish route that's possible that was not possible before. And once again, this is, you know, hot off the presses, right? So there's going to be a lot more stuff coming, just to show you now, just a little bit of what he's now capable of. So anything into a vanish. So that's just an example, right? So a lot of new routes are going to be possible, and yeah, it's just going to be fun exploring, because he's definitely going to be able to eke out some more damage where he never could before. So Gohan, there's a nerf, there's a buff. Let's talk about the old block string here. That don't work no more, as you can see here. But it does work if you just omit the stand heavy and go right into the down heavy. So if you just do this, this is all completely, you know, there's no mashing vanish, or there's no mashing level 3 reflect. That's all still a true block string, but you just can't put that stand heavy in there just to get that extra little bit of bar. So definitely not the end of the world. That honestly, truly, to me, barely affects the character. So all the people crying wolf, I don't feel too bad for you, honestly. And now on the interesting side, we're going to spoil it because I think damage is going to show it already. Well, maybe not, maybe not. So, if you dump more bars and potential unleash, it does more damage. So, raw by itself... Oh, I suppose we should turn off block. That would help. So, raw by itself, 1632. And we tested this in the patch notes video, and I have exactly 5 bars to show you. So, before, a 5-bar potential unleash did 1700. So, a mere 200 damage more. So now if we dump 5 bars in there, 2808, that's substantial. You know, it's still definitely like not as much as like a level 3 raw or nothing, right? But if for some reason you don't have any other characters to call on or whatever, dumping bar into potential unleash is not the complete waste it was before. So it is a decent little option on the table. So all in all, Gohan, I'd say net negative, or sorry, a net just side nothing, just net neutral. The block string stuff, all you gotta do is just omit one button. You basically have it exactly as you had it before, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, and then hey, that's a nice little buff. So Gohan, he's doing all right. So Beerus, a lot of people are excited for the changes, and I'm here to tell you these changes are pretty legit. They're pretty real. I'm not gonna lie to you. First up here, the reversal. So the reversal, as you can see here, starts up wickedly faster. I don't get the exact number of frame datas, but it almost appears like it'd be twice as fast for startup. And also, the invincibility is extended by quite a bit here. So yes, you can homing dash through the weak projectiles, but now you basically gotta wait to the end, and you're still gonna get bopped if you try to homing dash it. So all in all, this move is wildly better. Of the invincible reversals before, this was easily the worst one, and now this one is absolutely pulling its weight. This is definitely a very real move that you have to respect. That's really all I gotta say about that. So moving on from that, let's move on to the level 3. We talked about potentially new setups being found for level 3, and I'm very happy to inform you, friends, he now has a level 3 safe jump. So we just do our level 3, we're just gonna hold up forward and just do heavy attack, right? That's all we're gonna do. And we have plenty of time to block. Look at that. Plenty of time to block and punish. And if he did not so choose to wake up level 3, then he has to just take the hit. So yeah, this is pretty nifty for Beerus. As you can see there, they got to take the hit. Of course, you know, they can reflect and all that, but that's how most level 3 setups work, and now Beerus can join them. So having an easy peasy safe jump's real nice. And of course, you know, as with the essence of the safe jump, it can be all tricky and just land dude downline or something. Or you can be all wannabe Bardock and right before you land the air dash or that kind of stuff. So this is now an eminently more respectable and scary move in the corner. Now the dunks. The dunks wildly got buffed. They're all faster. They all get better range. Like, look at the EX dunk. Yeah, that's full screen, in case you didn't notice, right? And now you can make the dunks true block strings and combos. That's light dunk here. So the enemy is set to reflect when there's a gap. And this is all one true block string. He can only reflect after the fact. Meaning, since that dunk does leave you airborne afterwards, we can do, you know, all the fun stuff a lot of other characters can do here, like air dash forward and try to get a mix up, something like that. Obviously, it's going to be better with like assists with a heavier block stun. But yeah, definitely a big buff to his pressure game, to say the least. So all in all, Beerus, he's definitely moving up on the charts. Let's say that. Beerus might no longer be the master of Beerus tier. Android 17 is probably the master of Beerus tier. Now you might say, why you want to be Android 17 tier, you know, instead of Beerus tier? Well, Beerus tier to me is, you know, a state of mind more than a character. And so yeah, Beerus definitely no longer in Beerus tier, and Android 17 sadly has to take up residence there. All right, let's talk about Broly. This first one makes me so happy I could cry, because look at this. Now you're saying, well, what's the deal, right? Like, that's just how it works for everyone. No, that's not how that worked for Broly forever. A small character homing dashing at Broly and him just trying to down heavy it would just go completely through them, and they would land in front of Broly and get a full punish, like 99% of the time. I'm not exaggerating this. Fighting the small characters of Broly's always been a friggin' nightmare, and I'm so happy this actually works the way it should work against the small characters now. So they can't just rando homing dash me, I get the right read and get punished for it anymore, because the hitbox on his down heavy has been fixed, and I'm over the moon for it. Broly still has awful matches against the little characters for a variety of reasons, which I won't go into because this is not the video for that, but at least that's one small thing that helps stop the little characters terrorizing Broly. Now let's move on to the more fun change. So they stated that Broly's armor on his specials would start up faster than they currently did. I was a little skeptical of this because the only one I found any reliable at all was Corsical Ford S for special armor. It's the only one I could really incorporate into my game plan and actually anticipate getting the armor, because everything else was really bad, honestly. And yeah, so let's have a look here. I'm sure you remember these old setups here, you know. They vanish and they hit the buttons. You know, if I try to hit the button, I'm going to lose because I'm negative. So let's find out how this works now. Yes, so what did you see there? So the armor now on a lot of these specials starts up so fast that even in a negative situation like that, you can still armor through it. So you do got to commit to a special, and these specials are not necessarily safe on block, but oh my god, that is so good. So now you got to pay Broly a lot more respects in situations where only a little bit plus against him, because he can just armor through your BS now and not care at all. So this I consider a bug fix for the down heavy against the small characters, because if you don't play Broly, you don't appreciate how frustrating that is. And this one, let's just file that under the category of big buff. There's going to be a lot more applications, I'm sure, as we figured out, but this immediate one here, and see, you got to be a little quick on the draw here. If you're even like a frame late, it's not going to work. But that, the light version, all that kind of stuff, being able to dunk on situations like the very common situation of you get vanished on, then you have to deal with being negative. Definitely super good for Broly. So for hits changes all affected his super, and the one change I was really hoping for turned out to be exactly what I thought it would be, which is you can DHC before he switches sides. So you can now maintain your corner when doing combos with his level 1 super, and that is fantastic. Obviously it's not going to like wildly shoot him up top tier or nothing, right? But it's definitely a very nice quality of life change for sure. For Goku Blue, I had some difficulty understanding how patches as it was written, because it said like, oh, it teleports you forward then grabs. I'm like, well, that's not how that works. Like the light one might hit when you miss and teleports, but that's not how it works. Well, turns out that's how it works now. He actually just teleports forward and chucks you. This is actually super amazing. And this is the biggest buff to his grabs possible, as it turns every single setup into a tick grab. Everything. Hit, block, it doesn't matter. This probably makes Goku Blue the best command grab character in the game, even over Broly. This change is wild. Like, you always have to be scared of a command grab coming out of nowhere now, no matter what you're doing. Because everything you do now is a tick grab. Doesn't matter what it is, everything is a tick grab now. You always have to be watching out for that little teleport now, because if you don't, you're gonna get got. This is ridiculous here. Like, the range is respectable here. As we just showed here, stand heavy into it easy enough. Hits from roughly this distance. This is an amazing change. So if you watch this channel at all, recently I've had a decent amount of like Goku Blue content going up. And I've been pretty vocal that the character is much better than people give him, the average person says he is. And if this change, on top of everything I've done with the videos and all that, doesn't, change your mind on what a good character is, I don't know what will. This change is absolutely bananas. He went from, you'd have to think about the command grab, I guess. You couldn't sleep on it 100% because he still had like momentum-based tick setups. But now, since everything's a tick setup, you gotta just respect this, and you gotta fear this at all times. This is a wildly massive buff for Goku Blue. So Vegito, the big change is that he can now jump cancel down 2H in combos, meaning get like, you know, combo structure like a lot of other characters can. But there's also something else to it, and this is something fairly big. So as you can see, you can switch sides now. So that is kind of timing specific. The example I'm using here, I'm delaying the jump medium before going into it. And of course, if you can switch sides, then you can air grab into the correct side without, you know, having to burn a bar every single combo on it. So my understanding is we're all kind of figuring it out right now. There is a little bit of character specificity to it. You might not be able to do it on everyone. But yeah, one of Vegito's crippling weaknesses was, you know, you always got to burn bar on the side switch, right? You know, no matter how much bar he gains through, you know, silly moves like this, it always kind of tempers it a bit, right? And that weakness, well, I'm not going to say it's gone. It can be alleviated somewhat through some very strict timing and a little bit of elbow grease. So the jump cancel buff by itself is awesome because I'm sure it's going to remake a lot of corner combos. A lot of the old corner combos, you know, that were like a little more optimal, with the jump knee being, or sorry, the jump down heavy being jump cancelable now. The old combos might, yeah, there's probably going to be some new optimal routes found, is what I'm trying to say here, I guess. But yeah, with the side switch stuff, if we can get that reliable, that's going to be a very, very big deal for Vegito. So I know you Vegito fans are diehards, so I task you guys, hey, go out and figure this stuff out. And there you have it. So once again, this was not a complete overview of every single change. Those are just some of the bigger ones in my opinion, and just a nice little visual guide, because once again, as the time of making this video, the patch is, you know, super hot and new off the presses. So you might not have time to explore for yourself, or maybe some characters you don't really know too well. So those are the changes. So once again, I have the patch notes in full in a different video. You can check that out if you want to just peruse the patch notes in full. And that is it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.